Growing a sustainable world-class academy isn't just about getting new people to join your classes. It's about getting the right people to join your classes. This is a critical distinction that a lot of instructors just miss. You see, if you get the right people to join, you'll have less stress, enjoy teaching more, and just have a longer, more sustainable, better growth in your academy. All of your efforts should be focused on getting the right people interested in your classes and the wrong people to avoid you like the plague. And in this video, we're going to discuss one of the key principles to identifying the right people within all the trial requests you get every single month. It's called Golden Prospects. Before we get started, you might not know who I am. My name's Tom Barlow, and along with my wife, Chelsea Lee, we run one of the top Jiu-Jitsu academies in our area, called Escapology BJJ. We grew very quickly up to several hundred students. We've now just moved to a new permanent facility right in the center of Cambridge, which is just an amazing space to be able to teach out of it. And we did it all by using solid systems and understanding how to grow a school. And that's what we're going to be talking about, getting the right people into your classes. So when you do this, there are tons and tons of benefits. I'm going to kind of dive through most of them right now. The first one is you just waste less time. Okay, if you're only ever focused on the people who really want your classes, who are engaged, who want to be there, who can afford it, it's just more efficient. You don't have to worry about any of the time wasters who, can't afford your classes, don't have the time, don't want what you're offering. It is just easier and much more efficient. The second thing is you can teach how you want. You know that these people are the right sort of people for you. So if you want to run a heavily competition-based academy, you can do that because that's what you can set up your marketing to be and to try and activate those kind of prospects. Okay, if you want to just focus on kids, do exactly the same thing. If you want to focus on 40-year-olds who are just looking for a bit of stress relief, you can do that too. You can structure your academy the way that you want and really only target those people. And that will reduce your stress levels massively because you're just teaching what you want. Don't like teaching kids? Don't worry about it. Don't focus on them. Don't want to teach competitors? No worries. You don't have to do that either. You can just teach how you want, the way you want, and then use that to attract the people who are going to resonate with you. And that is much more sustainable as well, because if you're only ever attracting the people who like what you do, can afford it, and want to train with you, they're probably going to spend a lot more time training with you. You're going to stay for longer. That improves the health of your academy and the profitability of it too. And the final benefit of this is it just makes your marketing easy. You're not trying to be all things to all people. You're being very heavily niched, and you're just focusing on the people that you want to work with, that your message is going to resonate with, and that your classes are going to be the right fit for. It makes it real easy. And all of that is a real big win for your school. So we're going to dive into the kind of main body of how we go about identifying these golden prospects. This comes from two ideas. It's not something that I created. It came from two very high-level marketers, or I learned it from two different places. One is Dean Jackson, who's been around for donkey's years, very well-known marketer. The other one is a guy called Ross O'Loughlin. Okay, they introduced me to these strategies, and we've used them, and they work great for us in all of our different businesses. So the first thing that we have to understand is 5-star prospects. Okay, we have to qualify this person, and 5-star prospects is a way of filtering people of all the inquiries you get and making sure that they're at least a good fit for you. Okay, a good match for what you're offering. That's what 5-star prospects is about. And as you go through this process, you're going to see how it works and why it's important and why it becomes much more efficient as well. So, star number 1, they need to be willing to engage in a dialogue with you. That means they've got to be open to communicating. They have to be responsive. So if you get tons and tons of Facebook leads when no one ever answers the phone, not a problem. They aren't even 1-star prospects. You don't need to waste your time on them because they've not shown they're willing to engage in a dialogue. Okay, now that doesn't mean they might not become good prospects in the future if you have a strong nurture system where you're educating them on your academy, the benefits of jiu-jitsu, but right now they're not the people you should be focused on. Let your automated systems in the background work with those people and get them more informed about what you're offering. The next one, star number 2, they should be friendly and cooperative. Okay, they shouldn't blow you off. For example, you say, hey, I've got like a whole year's worth of, would you like a year free of training? And then you get a one-word response is no. They're not really friendly and cooperative, although they have opened a dialogue. And again, just because they're not friendly and cooperative right now doesn't mean they won't be in the future, so you want to keep them in that nurture process. So we want people who are going to be talking to us, they're going to be having a good time, they'll be answering our questions, they will tell us a little bit about themselves. That's being friendly and cooperative. Next thing, star number 3, is they need to know what they want, okay? What is it that they are hoping you can help them with? Okay, is it that they want to get fit? Maybe they want to lose 30 pounds. Whatever it is, they need to know what they want, because without that, we can't tell them how we can help them, and we won't be able to map out a solid path for them to work with. If it's too nebulous, it makes it very, very challenging to do. So we need to know, they need to be able to articulate why they want to start classes. Okay, star number 4 is they know when they want it. Is this something they want to do right now, or is it something they're going to do in a few months' time? For example, someone gets on a chat with you, you call them up and they say, yeah, I'm really interested in classes. Yeah, I'm looking at losing weight. Maybe I want to do some competitions. I'm really excited to start this journey. However, I am going to go on an oil rig for the next 3 months. They are not a 5-star prospect. They're not going to be here. How can they start your classes if they're not here? Or maybe they're like, yep, I'm in a month's time, my wife's due. They might not be a 5-star prospect either, because the second that baby's born, suddenly they're going to not be as consistent in their training. It's going to be a bit of a problem. And you might want to set up something different for them, or a different way of working with them, to either get them started now and then allow them to kind of take a break while that baby's born and settle down, or just get them to recontact you afterwards. Okay, or set up a plan in some other different way. Okay, the final thing that you want, the star number 5, they'd like you to help them. Okay, they've bought into you and your message. That is really, really important. They've already looked around all the other academies in your area and they've said, you know what, I want to train with you because I like the way that you're talking, I like the way that your classes look, and they seem to fit my personality, my goals, etc., etc. So that is our 5 stars. Willing to engage in a dialogue, they need to be friendly and cooperative, they have to know what they want, they have to know when they want it, and they'd like you to help them get it. If at any point they fall down on any of these stars, they're just not a good match for your school right now. That's okay. That's how filters work. They remove people who aren't a great match, so all we're doing is focused on talking to the people who are a good match. That's where we're investing our time and energy. Okay, and what we can do is use our leads machine, our nurture campaigns, to help them warm up maybe in the future, but also get them to raise those, or of all those leads, get those 5-star prospects to raise their hand and start that conversation to open up that dialogue. And like I said a few moments ago, just because someone's not a 5-star prospect right now doesn't mean they won't become in the future. That's why we have to be continually in front of them with our message, with education and information about our school and why we are the right sort of place for them to train, or how we can help them. The second part of this process is the golden prospect. So once you've got these people talking and you've filtered them to say that they're pretty good for a fit for your school, you want to find out if they're qualified to become a potential member. And by that I mean there's certain things they have to meet to literally join your academy. Because if they're not, again, that good fit, that golden prospect, they're not going to stay around long term. So here's the criteria, and again there's 5 of these criteria. The first one is do they have the money? Like, can they even afford your classes? If they can't, there's nothing you can, they're not going to be a great fit for your academy. Like, for example, if every month there's a stretch for them to meet your membership fee, it's going to be challenging, and probably they're going to quit because they just can't afford to stay with you. Now again, you might be able to figure out a different way to work with them, but they're not necessarily a golden prospect right now. Okay, so number 2 is, can they say yes? Are they the decision maker? Are they the person in their household who is like, yep, I can sign my child up for this? Okay, I need to talk to my wife, whatever. If they're not that person, you need to figure out who that person is and have a process within your system to make sure that you're only talking to the decision maker. So a very simple qualifying statement might be like, if let's say little Johnny, because we're talking about parents, if little Johnny enjoys the class, are you the person who can set up his membership? Are you allowed to do that for him? And then you can find out if, maybe they need to get their wife in, maybe it's they need to get their dad in, whatever else it is, get them along on that trial, okay? Next thing is, do they have a bleeding neck? Is there any urgency in the problem they want to solve? Okay, that's going to make presenting your offer to them much, much simpler. So a great example of this is, like, let's say that you have a parent, okay, or a dad who wants to go and have a kick around with his son in the park and play football. He takes 3 steps, is now out of breath, and he realizes that he's just not in shape. He's not going to be able to be there for his son and actively participate in that child's life while they're running around. That kicks them into gear. Okay, they want your help right now. Okay, that is the urgency that you want to have. Okay, and then it's very easy for you to then match your solution to their problem. How can my classes help that person get fitter? And how quickly are we going to be able to achieve it? You know, really good example of bleeding neck is like, I just threw my phone down the toilet. Okay, got to have a phone for my day-to-day life because so much of my life works on a phone. I've got a real bleeding neck, I have serious urgency. I've got to run off to that store to get myself a new iPhone. That is a bleeding neck in a nutshell. Okay, now, criteria number 4 of these golden prospects. Are they bought into you and your USP? Okay, so do they believe that you can help them or you can help them through your programs? Okay, so this can come down to education, but they have to believe that you are the right place for them. Because remember, this isn't just about getting people to try and convince them jiu-jitsu is good for them. It's about them getting to say yes straight away. Okay, that's what we want to be focused on. Okay, so do they believe you? So some people, like, they might have seen for example, my Instagram profile. They might just know who I am, and I'm like, Tom, he is the dude who can help me out through his jiu-jitsu classes. I love the way he teaches. I'm just there. I want to be part of that. I've had people come in and say that to me. They are bought into me, bought into my USP, what we're offering within our programs. Okay, now criteria number 5, and this is really, really important, and a lot of people miss it. Does do your classes or what you're selling match their life goals? Okay, it has to fit in with their life right now. So for example, we'll take the case of, like, you know, someone who's about to have a kid in 2 months' time. Okay, is them getting fit likely to be something that's going to match with their life? Are they going to be able to hit that goal right now? Probably not. It's going to be really challenging. When that new child hits, they're going to struggle to make class effectively. Maybe they're not that golden prospect that you thought they were. Okay, there's lots of things that we can look at that. So for example, we go through all these criteria and they're like, oh, you know what? I don't have a car right now. I'm not going to have a car for the next 3 months. How are they going to fit into your life? How are they going to be able to get to your classes? That's not a golden prospect, and you can use this process to identify those people, and then you can nurture them in the background and say, like, hey, in 3 months' time, when you've got your car fixed, we're still going to be here. Shall we, maybe I can book in and have a chat to you then, or you can give us a call when you're ready to go. So we're not saying they can never become a part of your school, but we're only working with the people who are ready right now. Okay. So the final thing that we want to think about is finding those golden prospects. How do we go about doing that? How do we find these people out there who are like a great fit? You filtered them, you know they're ready to go, plus they have the ability to start joining your classes right now, and they really want it from you. Because at that point, it's just offering them a free trial, you know, offering them to become part of your academy, whatever it is, and they will snap your hand off. Okay, and that's going to increase your enrollment, right? And it comes down to 2 parts. It basically comes down to your marketing system and your enrollment system. Very, very simple idea. Okay, so this is kind of like our basic overview of like our marketing funnel, I guess you would call it. You have kind of an advert at the start, then you have someone request a trial, come to a trial, they become a trial member, and then they become a member, and then you've got nurture throughout this entire process. Okay, so what we're trying to do within our marketing system, okay, which is kind of this section here, is we want to attract and pre-qualify the people. We do that by talking in their language, using the words that they use, the language that they use. We call out to them. So for example, parents in Cambridge versus men over 40 in Cambridge. We're talking directly to them in their language and in the language that you use on your website, in your social media posts. Okay, we use images that resonate with them. So again, if we're talking about kids, we focus on the fact that, you know, kids and what they're doing in their classes if we want to attract them. If we want to attract, you know, like, you know, the jiu-jitsu guys like, without ripping their top off at the end of the class, then we put up pictures like that. Like, what are we doing to attract the right sort of people to our academy, and what message are we sending across to them? Okay, and then you have to get them bought into your USP, so educating them on why you're the right place, about what your system is, how your school works, how you're going to help them through that journey. That might be through like testimonials is a great way to go about do that. And the whole point of this is getting them just to raise their hands and get into that conversation. Okay, once we're in that conversation, which might happen through email, through phone, through whatever, we can then start talking to them and setting them up onto a trial and getting them to come into our academy. Once they're in that kind of enrollment process, which takes place around here, then it's about qualifying them from this for your school. You know, are you in the right location? Can you attend class regularly? Can you afford to do this? You know, so you're discerning. You're not just trying to get as many people in as possible. You're trying to get the right people in. Okay, and that's a very powerful position for you to be in. So yeah, your enrollment system should qualify them. It should, you know, show them the quality of your academy, the quality of what you're doing, and move them from a non-member to a member and to a lifelong member as well. Okay, because it doesn't stop once they join. We need processes in place that are going to keep them training and help them become that, you know, like black belt 10 years down the line, because that's really what we want to achieve. Okay, now, for all of this to work, it's really important that you understand your target market and your USP. What makes you special? What is your goal? What is your mission? And how do you share that with the market? Those things are absolutely crucial. Okay, so if you don't know that, that's a bit of a problem. It's definitely something that you should try to work on. The easiest way to go about doing that is by talking to your students and figuring out what you really want. Okay, that's the basic process. There's tons more intricacies that go down into it, but that's how you start filtering people. We're using our marketing systems to kind of pre-qualify them and get them into a conversation. And then we're using our enrollment systems to take them through that golden prospect phase to becoming a full member. And that should be very easy. It should be a natural part of the rest of the process. So a few final thoughts. Essentially, none of this is revolutionary, okay? But if you get it right, it just accelerates your school like you would not believe, makes everything so much easier, and that school that you dream about comes closer to being in touch. Okay, we want to use that 5-star system to engage people, find out how we can help them, and then once they know that they want our help, we want to use the golden prospect system to find out if they're a good match for us. And if you need that little bit of extra help growing your school, then just hit me up, Tom at Escapology BJJ. We have 2 different options depending on where you're at, but we can start putting this into your academy. And if you have any other questions, let me know too. Talk to you soon.